All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Lasting Learning. Today is a good one. This is an episode I have been waiting to record for a long, long time. I got a guy on today who I follow on every social media platform out there because he is truly the epitome of inspiration. He is a guy that just shows me what it looks like to be comfortable in his own skin, to embrace his uniqueness, to put it all out there, all in the name of getting a laugh, bringing out smiles, inspiring, empowering kids and adults alike. He's a guy that a lot of you will recognize, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. You'll see his face and say, "Oh my gosh, it's him!" Yeah, it's him. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you'll hear his voice, and automatically you'll start smiling because Don just brings a smile to everybody's face. Today, we've got a man joining us from blustery, cold, miserable. That's just about everywhere in America today, but Kansas. We got Don Epps joining us from Kansas. Don, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. You didn't tell me to bring Kleenexes, Dave. I just started crying. That intro, I'm not worthy of that. That's, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Man, I made a guy feel good about himself. So.
But, it is so true. But truly, from seeing you do splits on stage at a conference to singing songs with kids, I mean, you are the epitome of, I'm just going to bring it and people will either love it or hate it, but it's who I am. And I appreciate that so much, man. So thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me so much, Dave. It's such an honor. And you have your message and all your work is so great, and it's changing the game, Dave. You're changing the game, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Well, all I'm trying to do is amplify voices like yours. So if you can take a minute, and there might be one or two people out there that have never seen you do the splits or have never heard you sing songs or truly don't know your story or where you are or what you do. Can you just take a minute, introduce yourself to those one or two people?
Yeah, they're the lucky few. And so, so I'm a farm kid from Southeast Kansas, and I'm just on a mission to make a difference. I was so blessed. My parents have raised me to have this resilience and this work ethic and this character, and I modeled it growing up from them. That's where I received it, and so I'm so blessed. And then, as I got into high school, I was kind of trying to find my identity. I didn't know quite where it was going to take me as far as was it going to be in agriculture? Was it going to be in a different path? And you ever had that game changer person in your life that just light bulb, and that light bulb person was named Charlie Beckman. And he invited me to go out and coach middle school football during like an athletic period, like an activity period. And so before my practice started in high school, I could go out and coach the middle school kids. And a light bulb went off. I loved history. I loved being around education, and I loved coaching. And all of a sudden, this is what I'm meant to be. At the end of the season, he said, "Donnie, you're a teacher." And I said, "I am a teacher." And from that point on, I never looked back. And I just wanted to put myself in the best situations and the best people. And along the way, I just had incredible mentors. I just try. People say, "Man, it's not who you know, but what you know," or vice versa, or not what you know, but who you know. And I said, I question that, because in order to know people, you got to be able to work harder. You got to be able to sacrifice more, so people want to be around you. And that's what I always believed in. Try to outwork people, try to do what it takes to relate to people and communicate with people. So I've been so blessed. Mr. Beckman, my son Charlie is named after Charlie Beckman. That's a teacher. And Charlie David, my dad, and my one of my most inspirational teachers. And so like I said, education matters. Going through education for so many years, I've had failures, I've had growth, but I just wanted to bring my classroom environment to a building. And we valued building a culture of respect in our classroom. And our kids could come into my classroom. I was a social studies teacher, and we did some wild stuff. I made a joke, like I was teaching like a pirate before Dave Burgess made it cool. We were climbing ladders, making forts inside the room, doing battle reenactments. I mean, it was crazy. But kids felt trusted and respected in that room. That's why we had that culture, that's why we do the things we did, because we had the culture where we wanted it. And so I was so honored to be a part of that and be a leader of that. So when I decided to get into administration and to be a principal, I just wanted to bring that to a building. And I've been very blessed to be a high school principal and a middle school principal. And in both situations, we've brought that kind of culture. And then, like I said, so don't be afraid to fail. Have a support system. Let's get back and let's keep moving forward. That's what we're all about.
Good message right there, man. So much. I mean, we could just call it a day right there, but there is more to unpack in that story. And I kind of want to dig deep a little bit, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So you talk about this inspirational man that said you're a teacher, and
Yeah.
you believed it and you went
Yep.
with it. Did you have somebody along the way when you were teaching that tapped you on the shoulder and said, you're an administrator, you're a principal, you're a leader?
Yeah, I did, and another David in my life, David Large, he one of my mentors and one of the people I coach with, as a young coach and teacher. And he says, you have a unbelievable knack to motivate and to be and to elevate people and kids, take it to the building level, try it, and so, and by this point, I just been married a couple of years at this point, and so I went back and got my master's degree, and my wife Vicky is so amazing, and we sacrificed, and we in that journey to become an administrator. And I failed so many times, I missed out on so many jobs, early on, and trying to get into administration. But I was bound and determined that I was going to bring that culture that worked in my classroom and worked on my teams that I coached. I was going to bring it, and I wasn't going to try to be like other people. I'm going to be inspired by other people. I'm going to try to take great practices other people do, and great. I'm always studying great leadership. I'm always studying great techniques and strategies. But your you-ness, whatever makes you, I got to be that. Cause I'm not going to be good at anyone else. There's only one me, and there's only one genuine dork, which that's another story for another time. And I'm a genuine dork. And so I own it, and when I do that, I feel the kids and the teachers that I serve to feel empowered to be them, to be that so.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. One of the things you said was when you became a leader, you wanted to bring you to the school. You wanted to bring your classroom to an entire building.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious how you do that, because I've been a building administrator now for 12 years or so.
Yeah.
And it's always this constant battle of trying to get people to do things the way that I did it when I was in the classroom. Because, I mean, hey, after all, I was a great teacher, and that's why I became a leader, right?
Yep.
So if everybody just does things the way that I did it, everything would be great. Well, of course, that's not necessarily the reality.
Yeah.
You also have to mesh that with allowing other people to be themselves. And there might be some people that don't fully embrace being crazy and wacky and goofy, and just there might be some people that are more close to the vest and don't want to go all out like you do. So how do you manage that?
Okay, so the first thing is you don't have to do what I do to make an impact, and I just want them to find what makes them unique and what makes them special. So the first thing is I go in any kind of a situation, I go in and I'll listen, and I try to learn about who I'm serving. And that's the biggest tip I can give for any leader. You go into a building and you spend 80% of your first few months just listening to people. And then how you get people to really buy in to that vision or what you're trying to make is then you actually implement the things that you're listening to. You actually address them and you work with them and you show them that you care. The biggest problem we have in education is we have a caring gap. Okay. People don't have purpose. Therefore, they don't have pride and they don't have passion. And so therefore, if you give them a purpose and you give them that passion, like there's a rock star teacher named Richard Kern, and he's at Diamond, Missouri, with my first high school principal job. And he totally changed the game in education in that area with his way he's doing with OER, open educational resources, flipping the classroom, ditching the textbooks like Matt Miller. And he, when I got there, he gives me credit for that. No. All I did was empower him to be him, where he could feel comfortable, where he knew if he tried something, you know what, if it fails, it fails. But dadgummit, we're going to do what's best for kids, and we're going to learn from it. And where he felt comfortable and had an environment where he felt comfortable to do that in. And so, and just like here at Royster, at Diamond, or anywhere else I've been, I want people to feel like they don't have to have, there's no cookie cutters here. You just be the best you can be, and we're going to support that and foster that. And so, like, we have teachers, there's certain qualities that we have to tell our story. Education, we got to tell our story. But you can tell that story in so many different ways, okay? I started doing videos, and we can talk about that story, how I started doing videos, and it was a kind of a funny story how it all began, but that's just one way I found to communicate to people and to relate to people. And it's kind of turned into a monstrosity now, but it's just, it was only done so I can relate to kids and help relate to teachers and staff. This week's been a crazy week here, and I honestly haven't done my morning videos like I normally do. And a teacher came up to me today. I never thought I'd say this, but I missed your videos this week. And so, like, well, all right, there we go. I guess we'll take it. But like I said, I just don't. I never I try to care so much about people that they know that, it's just something I just try to out care people. And so the teachers know that I'm going to support them. I'm going to do everything I can to support them and help them. And then as you start becoming more comfortable, they start kind of trying new things and be able to try new things with that. So that's kind of a roundabout way to get to it, but I kind of sorry about that.
No, that's good, man. I wish I had this conversation with you 12 years ago. I really do, because when I started off in administration, man, I did everything wrong. Everything wrong. So first of all, we had some similarities. When I first decided it's time for me to step into administration, I went on 16 interviews before I got a job, because I just thought, I am determined to do this. And it didn't happen until finally I just sat back and said, well, I guess I just need to become a better teacher first. And once I became a better teacher, then opportunities started opening up, and it went from there. But when I first became an administrator, I thought my job was to fix everything that was broken. And I went around looking for things to fix. And wow, the more you decide that you have to fix, the more people look at you like you're broken. I mean, that is the reality of it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
One of the things that I think you do so well is, I don't feel like that's your mission. I feel like your mission is to amplify. You're out there looking for greatness and you amplify it. Sort of like Joe Sanfilippo did up in Wisconsin, and he put the crickets on the map. You put racers on the map. I mean, in this past year, I have heard more about education in Kansas than ever before in my life. And it seems like Kansas is where all of the action is right now. Kansas and Missouri is like, it's the hotbed of education in America today. And it's because of people like you who are amplifying the voices of others and saying, here's what we're doing. And when you amplify what greatness looks like, other people want to jump on board and say, I'm going to do that. And kudos to you, man, for going out there and just blowing things up and putting your school on the map, putting your kids on the map, putting your teachers on the map, because I think that empowers and encourages them to own who they are.
Yeah, I kind of make a joke with the kids, like, "Hey guys, we got the world's watching us right now. We got to step up. Like, we have to have a higher level of character, how we treat each other, how much effort we give." And the kids believe it. So like every time we make a video now, and the kids are in it, like they're like, the whole world's going to see it. And I know that's not the case, but that's what they believe. And that's awesome. But they feel that they're a leader. That the kids feel like they're leaders. In this, and we're only going to get better. We're working hard to get better every day, and it never stops. Chasing greatness is all about the journey. It's about trying to get there. You're never great necessarily. You're always just trying to be the best you can be. That's what chasing greatness is all about. That's what the kids have really taken on, and the teachers have taken on here. And so,
well, and I think it's something that you've taken on as well. It's always this quest to learn more and do more, because I think in education, in a lot of places, there is this comfort in good enough. I mean, we are all working extremely hard. Yep. And it's hard to even maintain the status quo. It's hard to maintain where we've come to. So to think about taking it to that next level and to push and excel and do even more, do things with even greater excellence tomorrow than we did today is daunting. Yep. And it's intimidating.
Yeah.
And for a guy like you in Southeast Kansas, like you said, you're everywhere though. I mean, you're not comfortable just being Southwest or Southeast Kansas. You're truly everywhere, from the Teach Better conference up in Akron to following Dave Burgess and Adam Welcome and Tara Martin. Like you're everywhere right now. Why is that? Why do you feel the need to connect with people all over the place as opposed to just maintain what you got? Isn't Kansas good enough?
Well, first off, I look at it as there's all these incredible people like you that I want to learn from. I want to get ideas from. They're going to inspire me. I need fuel. Okay. And so I tell the kids, when you give me those fist bumps in the morning, you're fueling me up today. Okay. I have to be out there when the kids get off that bus. I have to be on social media to see people like you, see like Tara Martin and Adam and, Dave. And I'm so blessed that I've built those relationships, but that gives me fuel. And what happens is, you may not always, the old way of thinking is you don't always relate to people in your backyard. But there's people out there that see the same thing you see. Michael Earnshaw is in Chicago, and he's doing an outstanding job as an elementary principal. Me and him have the same story. Different demographic, geographic difference, but it's the same story. It's the same. We've had the same struggles, and it helps us so much. Last Friday, I spent an hour talking to Chuck Moss, who's in Virginia, and guess what? We have so much in common. Or last night, I'm driving home from a ball game, and I just give a really weird message to Jeff Kubiak in California, And it's just these people that they make me, they inspire me, and I learn so much. And that's how I'm always just trying to get better. And I I've just been so blessed. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I tell people I had a flip phone less than 5 years ago, and I still have it every night. I use it as an alarm clock, and it's like my little security blanket, and it drives my wife crazy. She's like, your iPhone has an alarm. I know, but it's not. But this is it. I I went straight outside my comfort zone and said, you know what, if I want to, every step of the way, if I want to relate to more people and make a bigger difference, I got to try new things and experience new things. Getting that first iPhone was scary. Then I went to a Missouri principals conference, and I'd never been on Twitter, social media, and I thought I was going to a Google Classroom PD session. I went to the wrong room number, and I sat middle front, and Dr. Powers from Central Missouri was giving a big talk about the power of Twitter. And I said, okay, I can't this don't apply to me. So I can't get up, because my mom told me to be very unpolite, very impolite to get up during I'm just going to stay here, and I'm just going to listen. And all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, you can do this. You can do this. I set my Twitter account up during that session. By the time I got home, I started following people. And at first, I'm just a contributor. I'm just a consumer. That's all I would do. I was so terrified to actually make a tweet. And then one day, I started getting more and more people. Bethany Hill's been such an inspiration to me. She's so nice to me, and we lived a state away back then. And so I was shaking. I made that first tweet. I can't remember what it was about, but I hit post. I'm like, oh, I did it. And then all of a sudden, the next one become more comfortable. And then people start following. And that PLN's amazing. Dave, can you imagine if we didn't have our PLN? Can you imagine what it'd be like?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking about that connection of 10, 15 years ago, we were all encouraged in our schools to leave our doors open to collaborate and connect. Mm-hmm. Now in the age of safety and everything, now we're telling everybody, close your doors. But that doesn't mean you got to turn off your computers or your phones. You can still connect and collaborate even with your door closed. And I mean, you're doing that. It's awesome.
Well, the educational islands will kill education, but it's us people, like, we're trying to go out there and try to make, like, one teacher's best practice can be someone else's next practice if we can collaborate and share. And what I try to convince people, the next idea can come from across the hallway, or it can come from Maine, it can come from Japan, it can come from anywhere in the world. And I've had such incredible people I've served, at my time as a principal, and they have opened these ideas up, or they've got on Twitter, and they've done all these incredible things. And so I'm just very proud. And like I said, our teachers are doing a wonderful job telling the story. We're really growing in Twitter here right now. We're trying to grow and trying to, get that place. But, David, good people find each other, I believe too. And, it's happening. We get all these incredible educators who find each other and share ideas and keep getting better.
It's so true. If farmersonly.com can make marriages happen, then we can make educational collaborations happen via Twitter and podcasts. I mean, there's got to be something there, right? Truly. So how have you changed over the last 5 years? You say 5 years ago, obviously, you were just getting new to administration back then. And at the same time, you were experimenting with social media collaboration. But how have you as a person evolved?
Well, as a person, I'm just like, I love adversity. And I'm one of those weird people who, like, I always go out, and if it goes perfect, I go, that's okay. But hey, if I got scraped up a little bit, if we had some bruises along the way, theoretical, that really defines us as a person. And what I have changed as my whole perspective is my vision. As far as when I was in the classroom, my vision was, maybe an inch wide, and then I become a building principal, it opens up wider. And I just want people to understand is that we all, positive and negative ways, we all impact each other. And that's what I want our kids to understand. We can use words to cut, we can use words to heal. And so I've really changed the way I think about the smallest interaction can cause a ripple effect. And let's make sure those interactions are positive and cutting ripples of kindness. And just like Jeff talks about, Kubiak, but it's just one of those things where we just absolutely cannot settle for status quo. Status quo is our enemy. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep fighting. You got that kid in class, and that kid could be your kid or somebody else's kid. And we got to fight for those children. We got to keep getting better every day. our teachers here, back in October, Brian Aspinall came in, and that was a major undertaking to get somebody like that here to our school. But he's helping change the game, where our kids believe we're bringing the best in the world in for them. Ain't that awesome? And so therefore, whatever it takes, and our teachers have loved it, and they felt so important. And our community members like, man, this guy is an author, and he's coming in. And so I just feel that our smallest interaction can make the biggest difference. And so that's how I really changed things. I think over the last 5 years is that something that you find insignificant can change someone's life completely. And you just got to own those, embrace those.
And I'm going to make a statement here, and feel free to correct me if this is at all inaccurate, but it's something that it's exciting to me and it's intriguing to me at the same time. So I started off by telling you that you are an inspiration to me because you are so comfortable being you. And I asked you to introduce yourself, and you told me a little bit about yourself and where you're from. And as you're talking right now, I've got this yellow padded paper, and I'm just taking notes of all these things you're saying that I've heard other people say, and quotes that you're quoting of other people, which is just so powerful to me. You're talking about, first of all, the punk rock principal, Mike Earnshaw, who you've got this friendship with. You talk about Bethany Hill, this assistant principal from Arkansas, who's just one of the sweetest people on the planet. Brian Aspinall, who can drop the F-bomb like nobody else and comes in as a code breaker and can teach people how to do things with robots. Adam Welcome, Dave Burgess, and Teaching Like a Pirate. It sounds to me like you have evolved and morphed into not quite this chameleon, but you are so willing to embrace the ideas, the mindsets of other people into who you are. And you are truly this collection of all of these people. Is that at all accurate?
That'd be a great honor. Now that may be an insult to them, but that's a great honor to me. I'm never too good to learn something. I'm never too good not to take an opportunity. And my biggest fear in life is missing opportunities. That's my biggest fear in life. And, you just know when it's right, but those like everyday moments, one thing I wish I could do more is just keep learning from others, but I try hard, and our lifestyles are crazy busy, but I just feel that like I'm a part of everyone that impacts me, and like I said, I try to bring that out and show those things and help our school be the best it can be,
So how do you as a leader sift through what your staff needs versus what might be popular in other places? And this is a struggle for me personally, because there are a lot of great messages out there, a lot of people that are out there saying some amazing things that I resonate with and I relate to, but then I also have to balance with the conversation of is my staff ready for this? Is this what my school needs? How do you wrestle with that when you might embrace a message personally, but trying to decide if it's what your school needs?
Yeah, and so it's all got to be about us, and it's got to be about ours and us. And if we start coming in saying, this is what I want to do, then we're going to lose them right now. And so there has to be an ownership, has to be a shared ownership. The true way to get growth is to empower the ones you serve to be the difference makers, to make the difference, to be the difference. And so you do that by, I talk about that listening quality. So you take all these conversations and you put them all, and you can put them into paper form or whatever else. And then you identify as a team, if it's the kids or if it's the teachers, like, what are we going to fall on our sword for? What's our core values? What are we going to do? And I think, may have been like a year ago now, I think we kind of we were on the same side, but someone talking about, what you fall on your sword for education and those kind of things. But those core values is what's going to guide everything, all your professional development, your focus, your mission, your time. Here, we have a focus board. We put it in this year, but it's a focus board. When everybody walks into our building, you can see our 4 core values. It's, student achievement, obviously, but safe learning environment. And where we change a little bit, it's all in social emotional development. But one of our 4 is that a lot of people don't have is we're going to have a active school environment. Our kids are active over 70 minutes a day of design active time. So when they get to school, they can be active. They can be running. We have PE every day for every kid in our school. So over 500 kids have an hour of PE. Plus we get kids out at lunch. There's never a lunch where we sit around. We eat. Then we're out. We're going, and we found that an active body equals an active mind. So right before state testing, we get a sweat going. Like I don't know who else does that, but we're in the gym and we got Cotton Eye Joe playing and we're doing these big line dances and our kids are sweating as they go do testing. The point is that wasn't my vision. That was our vision. And so therefore that's how they buy into it. And so therefore, anytime we look at professional development or anything else, we try to, okay, how does this fit our vision? In math, we wanted to look at a mind shift a little bit in math, like what's some other ways to look at math? So we brought in Brian Aspinall, who gave us these incredible mind shifts of how to look at things like that. Or, our teachers wanted to pump me up to get back to school. So, Jonathan Alshire came in, and he's coming back again to talk to our high school kids, in our district. But like I said, so we try to meet the needs of what we have, but if you start trying to tell people what they need, you'll lose them. Okay. And you build a division. You're in the trenches together. It's what we need, and it's their voice, and great leaders just facilitate that voice to get change. And yes, you gotta work with people, and you gotta get them the mind shift. Okay, you gotta show them a different way, and you gotta show them. But if you don't do that journey together, you'll just lose them. It won't fall. You don't want to be told what to do all the time. We got to be empowered to grow together.
Yeah, I feel like, again, another bad analogy, but I'm gonna go there. I feel like you are almost like this educational librarian. You have all of these books inside of you, all these concepts, all these theories, all these ideas. I just looked on Twitter, and you're following like 5,000 people. So you've got 5,000 people filling your head with thoughts every single day. But as people come to you, one of your responsibilities is to identify which book to pull off the shelf and suggest to them and to recommend. You don't want to overwhelm people and say, hey, all 5,000 of these things is the next thing, because again, in education, we've heard about the pendulum swinging. That's how the pendulum swings. We chase this thing this week, and then next week we chase the next thing, and we're bouncing back and forth, and we lose focus. So I commend you on that focus board. That's powerful. Everything revolves around that core. You've identified what hill or what sword you're willing to die on, and you go all in looking for ideas, strategies, suggestions that are going to support your core mission. That's amazing.